Inec speaks on calls for Tribunal to nullify Tinubu'S victory. So what is Mahmood Yakubu trying to say here? There are several calls from different quarters to nullify Tinubu'S victory because, first of all, it is not correct. It's fraudulent. Okay, the process in which Tinubu secured the victory was actually unconstitutional, in absolute violation of all the Electoral Act and electoral laws in Nigeria. That is coupled with the fact that, first of all, he wasn't even qualified to contest based on issues around his personality and cases on him. So now INEC is coming out to speak or respond to that call. What will they say? Let's hear from them. Nigeria's electoral body, the Independent National Electoral Commission, has broken its silence after presidential candidates petitioned the Tribunal seeking nullification of the declaration of Bola Tinubu of the All Progressive Congress APC as the winner of the February 25 presidential election. Recall that Atiku Abubakar of the People Democratic Party and Peter Obi of the Labour Party, in separate petitions, asked the Presidential Election Petitions Tribunal in Abuja to void Tinubu's emergence as president-elect. Okay, so in his case petition marked this, Atiku said the declaration of Tinubu as the winner of the presidential election was invalid by reason of non-compliance with the provisions of the Electoral Act of 2022. He further argued that Tinubu's election was invalid by reason of corrupt practices and called for the withdrawal of the certificate of return that was issued to Tinubu by the Independent National Electoral Commission. While in his petition for Peter Obi, maintained that Tinubu was not duly elected by a majority of lawful votes cast at the time of the election, alleging that there was rigging in 11 states. He also urged the tribunal to determine that at the time of the presidential election, Tinubu and his running mate Kashim Shettima were not qualified to contest the election. So in a chat with The Punch on Tuesday, the chief press secretary of the INEC chairman, Rotimi Oyekomi, said the commission does not comment on cases filed by political parties and their candidates. Can you imagine? So that is what he has to say. That the commission does not comment on cases or political cases that are already before court. They can't comment on it. This one, wow. So what the response is, what kind of response is that? Because the call will definitely continue to come. Now, we learned about 4 different political parties, including PDP and the Labour Party, have filed a case against Tinubu, Shettima, APC, and INEC, okay, with the Presidential Election Tribunal in Abuja. And the first call is to nullify that election outcome, because the condition under which Mahmood Yakubu declared Tinubu the winner was very absurd. Also looking at all the circumstances, negative circumstances that surrounded that election, ranging from INEC officials not opening up polling units on time, to even in Lagos, where Labour Party's logo was conspicuously missing on ballot papers that were to use for the election. How those were deliberate attempts by INEC because they are working for the APC. Okay, up to when the election started and there was violence everywhere, especially in Lagos and Rivers State. All of those things Nigerians have taken note of. And then up to a point where even after the election, the BVAS was not used to upload the presidential votes from polling units to the INEC portal. Okay, they were able to upload that of Senate and House of Rep, but did not upload that of presidential votes. because they had a plan. Some of the INEC ground staff also confessed that they were not given password to access the BVAS to upload that of presidential votes, which was also very, very terrible. Okay, up to a point where at various polling units they were bypassing the BVAS and they resorted to manual. We saw one of the polling centers at Apapa where they were tipexing hard paper, even using non-conformance forms to compile results, and then from there they sent some of them that were blurred, not very clear by picture, to the National Collation Center at Abuja International Conference Center. So all of this, and the worst of all was that at about 4 p.m. that day, INEC shut down the viewing portal. Okay, says there were several attacks or they had technical glitches for good 6 to 8 hours. For good 6 to 8 hours. So, and that was the critical time that the presidential votes were supposed to be coming up to the INEC portal for documentation and for viewing. Unfortunately, the nation was in darkness for that period, which was also terribly very bad. INEC came out to tell us that they had technical issues. After some days, they are coming out to tell us that they had over 1.2 million attacks. How can 1.2 million attacks be on the server and it's still standing? It's not possible. It's not possible. So they were just lying and lying and lying all through. Okay, and with all those results from polling units not readily available at the National Collation Center Abuja, the INEC chairman still went hurriedly to announce Tinubu as winner, which was terribly very bad. If you look at all the numbers that made up what they did, we find out that they didn't get up to 70% of the votes from all the polling units, and then they went and declared the winner when they were supposed to have waited to get more input. Even with a week, they should have waited, or more, even 2 weeks, but they refused because they had a sinister agenda, which is declaring Tinubu winner come rain, come sun. The thing is actually going to choke them. So with all of that, almost all the political parties, even the ones that garnered votes and the ones that did not garner vote, every Nigerian became aggrieved and said, no, this election outcome is fraudulent. This election must be cancelled and repeated. Okay, so now there are several calls, and now INEC is coming out to see that they cannot comment. They cannot comment on a case that is already with the tribunal. So it is very, very appalling to see Nigeria organizing election in this manner. So INEC, in a chat with the Punch on Tuesday, said the chief press secretary to the INEC chairman, Rotimi Oyekomi, said the commission does not comment on cases filed by political parties and their candidates. Can you imagine? So what are you saying? No response to the call for cancellation of that election. That is what it means. So that is what we're getting here. Thank you for listening, and let's have your comment.